Hey guys, this is an engineer, or should I say, the horrible French accent incarnate. I'm back. So yeah, I don't know if you guys are actually watching those videos, so I might spend even less time on those. I know they're not that important. It's just to show that I'm working on the game and that it's moving forward. But I can understand if you don't feel like watching those videos because there is much accent, they are very low quality production because as I said many times, I don't want to waste time doing editing. But anyways, you see that I made a lot of playtesting of the game, and almost everything is tested and seems to work. There are just 2 achievements left that I haven't unlocked, that I haven't properly tested yet. But all the other things work at least at a base level. All that is left now is to improve things. Last time I said most of the features were there, but I needed what was left to improve things. Well, now it seems all the features are here. I say it seems because I still need to do a few tests there and there to confirm everything is fine. But yeah, right now, I said before, you see for instance that dollar bills are flying around now because I unlocked this by gaining achievements, the dollar bills feature, that now they spawn, and those dollar bills will help me gain money faster in the game. So now the dollar bills right now are very basic. As you can see, they have no animations, they're just flying around in a very unnatural way. But it's because I wanted to test to ensure they worked, they spawned, and that I could collect them and gain money with them. Each bill is worth five coins. It's not that much considering that golden coins are already worth 3 coins. But I wanted those dollar bills to be, a little extra, not something that is game changing. The only bonus that is truly game changing is the first one, unlocking the vouchers, because the vouchers give you a very big 25% discount at the shop. So, but this first bonus is very easy to unlock. It's an easy achievements. Also, you can see at the shop that now you need to press up to enter the shop rather than down. And actually, it was already the case in the build I released last week. But last week I didn't update the sprite of the shop in time, so the shop was still saying you had to press down, when in reality you already had to press up. So sorry, that's a mishap on my part. But I did warn you when I released this build that it's a work in progress, it's as is. And it was clear that there are going to be problems like this left. But also something that works now, even though, as you will see, it's still lacking. You see that when I made a double jump, my double jump token icon blinked. Also, you see that my life is over 100% now, but this time it's intended. Because I realized that, it's kinda neat if the double jump token allows you to overheal, because you can't always decide when you want to double jump, and so double jumping when you already have full health would be a waste if it was capped. So I thought, the double jump token, it unlike the magic platforms which heal you, and unlike eating food, the token can overheal you. I think that's interesting. But I still have to update the description of the items to reflect that kind of thing. For instance, you see that the double jump token description doesn't mention that kind of thing at all. Also, I fully intend to adjust the percentages of the bonuses. For instance, that was already the case last time, but I think the jump upgrades are a little bit too strong right now. So I'm going to tune them down. But you see that all the features are here now. I'm going to wait for a shop in which I can buy the vitamin cocktail, the super drug as I sometimes call it, so I can show you. Now the super drugs does something, it works. But I still have to update his description a little bit because now you have to press a specific button to use the drag. I thought it made more sense because in the original design you had to double jump to hit the drag. But just like the jump token, this led to very unfair situations in which you were forced to use your drag when you really didn't want to. Because the drag actually makes you lose weight super fast for a short while. And the bonus lasts longer if you do... Damn it, I didn't get a drag. I have enough money to buy it if it's offered, but it didn't get offered. So I'm going to keep my money to buy it later. So yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought what I was saying before. I was saying that no, the drag is all about losing a lot of weight for 30 seconds. But you can extend this time by doing push-ups. If you do push-ups, it will last longer than 30 seconds. It can even last, not forever, but very long if you do a lot of push-ups, if you use it at the right time. And because of that, I thought, oh yeah, it's completely unfair if you had to double jump to use it. So I changed that to a button. But right now, as you can see, the interface and the descriptions of the item doesn't reflect that at all. The game changed a lot through its development because I'm going to be completely honest, this game is improvised on a lot of points, even though the base design was made in a proper backlog and document. I often realize by doing testing that, oh yeah, that feature is not that fun, or it's bad, or how could I change it, or could I improve it? And because of those changes that I do on the fly, a few things in the game right now that are written in the game are just plain false. So some intent descriptions are plain false, for instance. But that's easy changes, you know, even if that's still work to do. Changing the description of an item is a very quick change. It's not like, you know, a complex algorithm that selects items according to your money and your what's available. But it's not rocket science either, but doing the shop, for instance, was much more complex than doing the little change that I'm talking about right now. And I'm going to wait for the next level to use the drag, so I have the most time possible. Because the end of the level will make you lose a lot of time on your drag, because it still consumes the time still counts at the end of the level. I think I'm also going to change that. I'm going to make it so that the drag ends at the end of the level. Because right now using the drag doesn't change the music, but it should. In the final build it will. So I'm going to use the drag right now by pressing the special button, and now I move crazy fast. You move twice as fast once the drag is active. And if you do push-ups, you extend the duration of the bonus. The time doesn't count while you're in the shop, so that's good. I can make my shopping without any consideration, or no, I'm wasting my time on my drag. But yeah, when I exit the shop, I'm still under the effect of the vitamins. I call it the drug, but they're actually called the Mr. Bull special vitamins in the shops. And with the shop, you see that when I lose calories very, very fast. You actually lose calories five times faster than normal when you're under the effects of the vitamins. And the vitamins is pretty much the high score item. It's the item you buy when you want to do a high score. But by buying the vitamins, you delay your other upgrades. So once again, there is an interesting balance here. Even though the game is, I say it every time, that it's a pretty simple game, I'm fully aware of it. But there are still little strategies and little considerations like this to have if you want to make a good score. Is it better to upgrade early? And my drug just ended. So right now when the drug ends, it's just like when I lose an item, I don't really have much feedback about it. In fact, I don't have much feedback about the drug being active at all. And I mentioned it already, but that's going to be the thing I do last. But it's doing those improvements on the feedback, on the information, on the data that the player gets. because that kind of things, is just adding animations for the most part. In terms of code, it's not much. So the good news is that the game right now is mostly about that, because right now in the snow level I'm actually sliding on the platforms. You see that if I walk like this, I'm clearly sliding. It's implemented in the game right now. You have in the snow world you slide on the platform, and in the desert world you have the winds, and the drug works. So you see that all the features that I mentioned last time weren't working. They're working right now, but as I said before, it's at a very basic level. They work, but they don't yet feel good, or they don't yet inform the player properly. And as I said, I'm going to spend 2 more weeks on this project and then give it up whatever it states, because I want to work on games that actually interest me more and also interest you more, because I'm pretty aware that pretty much nobody cares about Mr. Pig. The videos are barely watched by anyone. I'm not sure anyone even played the build I released last week. I kinda wondering when I'm doing this video right now, actually. But yeah, if you want the short version of this video, is that the game is complete when it comes to the basics, the features. What is left is to improve the feedback and the visuals on all those features, and of course to hunt for the bugs. Because you see the dollar bills, they work. They spawn, I can collect them, they give me the money, it's good. The drug, oh yeah, I can buy it, I can use it, and it does its proper effects, that I get super fast, and that I lose weight very, very fast for a while. And that the duration is extended by doing push-ups. So everything works at a basic level. Those 2 weeks will be all about improving. And improving will mean adding animations, adding sounds, and adding special effects, even more than there are right now. But I have fairly good hopes that I can do a decent job on those improvements in 2 weeks. So the game should be pretty fine in 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have to give up on a few things. For instance, I don't think I will improve the menus, except the shop works with the gamepad, of course, because changing to the mouse during a play would be very annoying. But the other menus, I don't think I'm going to make them compatible with the gamepad, because I mentioned it last time, the main menus of the game are quite poorly made, because I made them a long time ago, almost a year ago, before I even revealed to you guys that I was working on this game. Because behind the scenes, I always had been working a very little bit, even though it was a very little bit, on Unity. Because, well, even though I don't have much time, even though I'm not that skilled, I love video games and I love trying to make them despite my limited time and skills. And that's why I always worked a little bit on Unity, but it's something I didn't I didn't reveal to the world. I didn't talk about it on my DeviantArt. I didn't talk about it on my Patreon, but until, of course, a few months ago. But in fact, I've always done it. I always spend a little time, even if it was, only 2 hours per month, learning a little bit about Unity. So anyways, I'm going to do a jump cut right now, because there is still something, an improvement I would like to show you in Cyber City. But if you want, you can stop watching now, because the core message is, I already said it, I am going to repeat it once again. All the features are here. Now it's only about improving. And I have made a few of those improvements, and what I'm going to show in Cyber City is one of those little improvements about feedback. So see you after the jump cut. Okay, little change of plans. I realized this was a bit dumb to not show it because the desert is before Cyber City. But now there is wind in the desert. You see that if I jump, I'm not touching anything right here, I'm moving backwards. There is the wind only affects you when you jump. It doesn't affect you on the ground. So it's pretty much the opposite of the ice world, in which you're affected on the ice of the platforms when you walk, but you're not affected when you jump. The desert is kind of the opposite. So of course there is still tweaking to do on the strength of the wind. You know, is it really fun that way? I will try to make it as fun as possible, of course. It seems okay, the wind isn't that strong. It seems strong when you're not pushing your gamepad, but when you're actually moving against it, it doesn't feel that strong. It's there. You don't jump as far as usual, but it's okay. It's not. You can jump, you can move around, even though it's a little disturbing, and that's kind of the point. That makes the desert world slightly harder than the previous ones. Also, I wanted to mention before showing off the little thing in Cyber City that the platform variety, the variety in the platform spawns has increased even further, and I'm going to increase it even more. I mentioned it last time how it works. I basically improve the few input in the game's memory predetermined platform configurations, and then the game randomly chooses between those configurations. Well, I added a bunch of them. In fact, there are twice as much now as there were before, and I'm going to double that number again. So there will be a lot of platform configurations. And even though they are not technically randoms, you will see some patterns emerge again and again. There will be enough variety in those patterns so the game doesn't feel too repetitive. But because the position of the enemies and the spawn of some of the items are random, it doesn't feel that repetitive, even right now. But I'm going to make that even better by adding even more platform configurations. So anyways, now I said everything I realized I should say about that. And now I'm going to do the jump cut that I originally promised. And I'm going to show you the little thing in Cyber City. Okay, so here we are in Cyber City. And you're going to see that when the big death laser falls from the sky, the screen shakes. Well, technically it's not the entire screen, it's just the main gameplay area. But it's enough to give the laser much more impact than before. So of course it's still lacking sound, and because of that it still lacks impact. But sound is pretty much going to be one of the big things on which I work next week. Because I mentioned it before, I wanted the game to have all the features at a basic level because before I work on the improvements, on making it look better, on making it sound better. And now I have reached that point. As I said before, but once again I repeat myself, I have this tendency, sorry. But I'm going to say it once again for the voice the last time. Yeah, all the features are now here at a basic level, and that's really the good news of this week. And now it's only about improving and bug hunting. Only. Before I said it was mostly that, now it's only that. And now that it's only that, it's time to actually start adding all the sounds and all the fancy effects that I have planned that will make the game look even a bit better than it looks right now. It looks already much better than before just because I added those particles in the background, but I'm going to use even more particles. And also I'm going to make a second pass on the way my shaders work for my platforms. Because as we can see in Cyber City, the effects of the shader don't always look that good. It depends on the platform. I'm going to change. I think I'm going to change the logic of the shaders quite a bit. I'm not going to apply them on the platforms directly, but rather on a mask that will be over the platform. But anyway, you don't really need to hear those technical details. I showed you the basic idea of how the game is right now, and what my plans are for the next week. And I don't know if any of you will even watch this video. I have my doubts considering the stats of the previous ones, but you know, when I make a promise, I keep it. So I promised I would do videos like this every week, so I'll do it every week. I think I'm going to make a little poll or something on my Patreon to ask if you want me to continue those videos, even though nobody watches them, because they are, even if you don't watch them, they are proof that I'm working on the game, I guess. But I could do things differently. I could do, for instance, a video only every 2 weeks, but with higher production values. For instance, I could add subtitles instead of talking, which will allow you to not cope with my horrible accent. But that's a lot of time. I still think it will be a waste. But in the end, you know, the client is king, and as my patrons, you're my clients in a way. So I think I will ask. But anyways, that's pretty much it for today. I showed you explained to you everything. So see you next week, the second to last time before it's finally time to make that Victory Bell game that I know you actually want. And actually it's also what I actually want. I kinda like Mr. Pig, don't get me wrong, but it's still not Victory Bell. So yeah, Mr. Pig is not a character that I spend time thinking about when I'm bored or when I have time. And Victory Bell is. But anyways, enough talk. I already said the same things over and over again as usual. So it's time to end here. Thank you for your time and for watching this video if you actually did. And see you next week. And I'm going to end it by suiciding, because when you suicide, the screen also shakes, like with the laser right now. So you see, screen shaking is now a feature that is entirely part of the game, and I will use it in other places to further improve a few other things in terms of feedback, because that's the big word for next week: feedback. So feedback is going to improve when things happen, when you use your items, when you lose your items, and when stuff happens. And that will involve some special effects and more sounds. So that's it this time. See you next time. Bye bye. Or should I say au revoir? Because as you know, I always make the same jokes.